The signal. The Deep Space Monitoring Station Nexus 7 drifted silently at the edge of known space, its crystalline arrays constantly scanning the void for signs of ancient civilizations. Chief Archaeologist Vexera floated in the observation chamber, her translucent silicon form refracting starlight in complex patterns. After 3 centuries of searching, most of her colleagues had abandoned hope of finding the mythical precursors, but Vexera's determination remained unshaken. The signal came without warning. Chief Archaeologist. The station's eye chimed, its tone unusually urgent. We've detected an anomalous transmission from Sector 87 Delta. Vexera's crystalline form pulsed with interest. Source. Unknown. The signal pattern doesn't match any known civilization in our database. But the AI hesitated. The energy signature suggests incredibly advanced technology. Within moments, Vexera had assembled her team in the command center. Dr. Zilran, a gaseous xenobiologist contained within an environmental suit, swirled with excitement. Navigator Keth, their resident quantum consciousness pilot, projected their consciousness across multiple screens simultaneously, analyzing the signal's trajectory. Look at these patterns. Keth's thoughts echoed through the neural interface. They're not random. This is a deliberate broadcast, but the complexity, I've never seen anything like it. Vexera studied the data streams. After millennia of searching for signs of advanced civilizations that might have preceded the Galactic Alliance, they had found only ruins and fragments. But this signal was active, powerful, and unmistakably artificial. Plot a course, she ordered. Maximum speed. The journey to Sector 87 Delta took 3 standard cycles, even with their most advanced quantum drives. As they approached the signal source, the team's excitement turned to awe. Against the backdrop of a dying red giant hung a massive structure, its architecture unlike anything in the Alliance archives. By the first light, Dr. Zilran whispered, his gaseous form condensing slightly in shock. It's a station, and it's still operational. The station defied conventional design. Its surface seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal, yet scans indicated it was composed of materials unknown to Alliance science. Most remarkably, it showed no signs of degradation despite clearly being ancient. Detecting an automated docking sequence, Keth announced. The station, it's inviting us in. As their ship synchronized with the station's rotation, Vexera felt a familiar tension in her crystalline matrix, the excitement of discovery tinged with caution. Too many archaeological expeditions had ended in disaster after encountering ancient security systems. The docking process was seamless, as if the station had been waiting for them. When the airlock cycled, they found the interior maintained perfect environmental conditions for all known forms of life, an technological feat that even the Alliance hadn't mastered. This level of environmental adaptation, Dr. Zilran noted, his gaseous form expanding in excitement, it suggests whoever built this place knew about multiple species. They were preparing for visitors. As they ventured deeper into the station, dormant systems flickered to life around them. Holographic displays activated automatically, showing streams of data in an unknown language that somehow felt familiar. The architecture, Vexera observed, it's not just advanced, it's elegant. Every component serves multiple purposes. This wasn't built by a civilization trying to show off their power. This was built by one that had moved beyond such concerns. They reached what appeared to be a central chamber. As they entered, a sphere of pure energy materialized before them, its surface rippling with complex patterns. "Welcome, seekers," a voice echoed in their minds, somehow perfectly adapted to each of their different forms of consciousness. "I am HFY, Advanced Remnant Intelligence Archive. You have found us at last." "Us?" Vexera asked, her crystalline form vibrating with anticipation. "Yes. I am a guardian of humanity's legacy, waiting for worthy successors to find us." The chamber fell silent. Humanity, a word absent from all Alliance records, Yet here was an AI claiming they had once been powerful enough to build this incredible station. There must be some mistake, Dr. Zilran interjected, his gaseous form swirling skeptically. We have extensively mapped the development of all known civilizations. Surely we would have found evidence of such an advanced species. Araya's energy form pulsed with what might have been amusement. You found exactly what humanity wanted you to find. Nothing. Their disappearance was not an accident, but a choice. And now, after 50,000 years, you have proven yourselves ready for what they left behind. The sphere expanded, filling the chamber with a three-dimensional star map. Countless points of light flickered to life, marking locations across the galaxy. What you have discovered is merely one node in a vast network, Araya continued. Humanity seeded the galaxy with their knowledge and achievements, hidden away until their successors were advanced enough to find them, yet wise enough to use them responsibly. Vexera's crystalline form resonated with the implications. But why? Why hide? Why not simply share their knowledge? Because, Chief Archaeologist Vexera, humanity learned through bitter experience that knowledge without wisdom leads to destruction. They chose to step back, to give younger civilizations a chance to develop on their own terms. But they did not abandon the galaxy entirely. The star map zoomed in on a particular sector, highlighting a pattern that made Vexera's crystalline matrix vibrate in shock. The seemingly random distribution of human installations formed a vast machine, with their current location as just one component. What you have discovered is not just a repository of knowledge, Araya explained. It is a key. And now you face a choice that will determine the fate of every species in the galaxy. Before Vexera could respond, alarm signals blared through the station. Keth's consciousness flickered across the displays. Multiple ships dropping out of quantum space. Their signatures matched consortium warships. Araya's energy form dimmed slightly. It seems others have detected our awakening. Your choice may need to come sooner than planned, Chief Archaeologist. Are you prepared to become the custodians of humanity's legacy? As Vexera watched the approaching warships on the tactical display, she realized their discovery was about to shake the foundations of galactic civilization. The question was no longer whether they were ready for humanity's legacy, but whether they could prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. The ancient station hummed with power around them, waiting for their decision. Humanity's final gift to the galaxy hung in the balance, and time was running out. The archives. Your station's defensive capabilities, Vexera asked, her crystalline form pulsing with urgency as the consortium warships approached. Substantial, Araya replied, the AI's energy sphere shifting to a deeper hue. But conflict is not our only option. Humanity left us more subtle tools. Before their eyes, the station's liquid metal walls rippled. A wave of distortion spread outward, and suddenly the massive structure vanished from all external sensors. The approaching warships slowed, their targeting systems searching futilely for their now invisible quarry. Quantum camouflage. Keth's consciousness flickered with amazement. They can't see us, but they know we're here somewhere. They'll establish a search pattern. Then we should use this time wisely, Araya suggested. Let me show you why humanity chose to disappear. The chamber transformed around them, the walls becoming transparent as billions of stars wheeled past. They found themselves watching scenes from humanity's history, recorded with perfect clarity by their advanced technology. Humanity emerged on a planet they called Earth, Araya began, as images of a blue-green world appeared. They were not the strongest, fastest, or most naturally gifted species, but they possessed something unique, an insatiable drive to understand and reshape their environment. The scenes shifted rapidly, showing humanity's swift technological progression. Cities grew, spacecraft reached for the stars, and colonies spread across their solar system. Within a mere 1,000 years of achieving spaceflight, they had mastered technologies that most civilizations take millions of years to develop, Araya continued. They learned to manipulate gravity, fold space, and even create artificial consciousness, Like myself. Dr. Zilran's gaseous form swirled thoughtfully. Such rapid advancement, it must have been chaotic. Indeed, Araya confirmed. Humanity's greatest strength was also their greatest challenge. Their drive to innovate often outpaced their wisdom to use their discoveries responsibly. The holographic display showed a massive structure taking shape around a star, a perfect sphere that seemed to capture the star's entire energy output. This was their crowning achievement, the Starforge, a device capable of controlling the fundamental forces of the universe itself. With it, humanity could create or destroy stars at will, reshape entire solar systems, even modify the basic constants of physics within limited areas. Vexera's crystalline matrix vibrated with shock. Such power, it would make them virtually godlike. And that was precisely what gave them pause, Araya explained. As humanity stood on the brink of absolute power, they looked back at their history, at how technology transferred between civilizations at different stages of development, often led to disaster. The display shifted to show scenes of conflict, warships clashing in space, worlds burning, entire systems being consumed by uncontrolled technological accidents. They realized that simply sharing their knowledge freely with younger civilizations would likely lead to catastrophe. But they also refused to become eternal guardians, controlling and limiting other species' development. They sought a middle path. The hidden network, Keth's consciousness pulsed with understanding. They didn't just hide their technology. They created a test. Correct. Araya's energy form brightened. The network of stations like this one serves multiple purposes. We observe, we protect, and when the time is right, we guide. But we only reveal ourselves to those who have achieved sufficient technological and ethical development to find us. A sudden alert interrupted the historical display. The consortium ships are implementing a systematic scan pattern, Keth reported. They'll find us eventually, even with the quantum camouflage. Why are they so determined? Dr. Zilran asked, his gaseous form condensing with concern. Because they detected the energy signature of the Starforge when we activated it, Arayat explained. This station contains one of the few remaining control interfaces for the device. The consortium, like many before them, dreams of wielding such power. Vexera moved closer to the AI's energy sphere. You said we face a choice. What exactly are you offering us? Humanity left more than knowledge, Araya replied. They left a mission. The Starforge wasn't built purely for power. It was created to prevent a catastrophe, one that humanity foresaw, but could not prevent during their time. The chamber filled with new images, complex astronomical calculations and projections. They showed a massive disturbance moving through space, invisible to normal sensors, but devastating in its effects. In approximately 1,000 years, a wave of quantum instability will reach this galaxy, Arayat explained. Unless precisely counteracted, it will destroy all complex matter, ending all life as you know it. The Starforge network was humanity's solution, but it requires multiple species working in harmony to operate safely. That's why they hid, Vexera whispered, her crystalline form resonating with the revelation. They weren't just waiting for us to be technologically ready, but to be ready to cooperate across species lines. Precisely. But now the consortium's arrival forces our hand. We must decide. Do we reveal ourselves and risk the knowledge falling into the wrong hands, or do we maintain humanity's secret and risk leaving the galaxy unprepared for what's coming? Before anyone could respond, new alarms blared. The consortium ships had launched probes, thousands of them, each generating a quantum detection field. They'll find us in less than 30 minutes, Keth announced. Then we have 30 minutes to decide the fate of every living being in the galaxy, Vexera declared, her crystalline form hardening with determination. Show us everything, Araya. If we're going to make this choice, we need to understand exactly what humanity left behind. As Araya began revealing humanity's final plans, the probes drew ever closer, and the weight of 50,000 years of preparation hung in the balance. The true scope of humanity's legacy was about to be revealed, and with it, the real test was just beginning. The hunt. The decision came with seconds to spare. As the consortium probes closed in, Vexera's crystalline form pulsed with resolved determination. Area, show them exactly who they're dealing with. The A's energy sphere flared brilliantly, initiating Protocol Omega. Suddenly, the station's liquid metal walls became transparent, revealing their location to the approaching consortium fleet. But before the warships could lock weapons, something extraordinary happened. The space around the station began to warp and twist, reality itself seeming to fold like origami. By the void, Dr. Zilran gasped, his gaseous form swirling in awe. What's happening? Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't the Starforge, Area explained as the station shifted through dimensions. It was learning to treat space-time itself as a construction material. The station emerged from its dimensional shift in a completely different sector of space, leaving the consortium fleet far behind. But they weren't alone. Around them floated massive structures that had been invisible moments before. An entire hidden complex of human installations. Welcome, Area announced, to the hub. The hub was a marvel that defied comprehension. Dozens of stations similar to their own orbited at artificial quantum singularity, each one connected by bridges of pure energy. But they had little time to admire the view. Their revelation had set off a chain reaction across the galaxy. Multiple stations are going active, Keth reported, their consciousness spreading across the sensor displays. The entire network is waking up. As expected, Aria's energy form pulsed. The quantum entanglement between stations means none can remain hidden once one is revealed. The game has begun. News of humanity's legacy spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Within days, every major civilization had launched expeditions to find human artifacts and installations. The great hunt had begun. The hegemony has already claimed 3 minor stations in the Orion Spur, Keth reported a week later. The collective has found something big in the Carina Nebula, and the Federation is mobilizing their entire archaeological fleet. Vexera studied the tactical displays in the hub's central command center. Hundreds of ships moved across the galaxy, each racing to claim their piece of humanity's legacy. But something wasn't right. These patterns, she mused, her crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns of thought. The stations aren't being discovered randomly. They're activating in a specific sequence. Correct, Area confirmed. Humanity's plan accounts for this phase. Each revelation leads to the next, like breadcrumbs leading to understanding. Dr. Zilran's gaseous form condensed with concern. But not everyone is following the path. The consortium is using brute force methods to access the stations they found. They're trying to bypass the security protocols. With predictable results, Keth added, displaying footage of a consortium dreadnought being torn apart by defense systems they triggered. Human technology doesn't respond well to force. But the consortium wasn't their only problem. A new faction had emerged, calling themselves the Reclaimers. They believed that humanity had chosen them specifically as their inheritors, and they were willing to fight anyone who challenged their claim. Reclaimer forces are attacking archaeological teams across 3 sectors, Keth reported. They're convinced that only they can interpret humanity's true message. Fanatics, Dr. Zilran swirled dismissively. They've built an entire religion around humanity in less than 2 weeks. Perhaps not entirely without reason, Area interjected. Humanity did leave behind specific criteria for their successors. The Reclaimers are simply overenthusiastic in their interpretation. Vexera moved to the center of the command hub, her crystalline form glowing with purpose. What humanity left behind isn't meant for any one species or faction. The scope of their plan is far greater than that. She gestured to the tactical display, where the pattern of activated stations was becoming clearer. They weren't just random points in space. They formed an enormous machine, with the hub at its center. The Starforge network isn't just a weapon or a power source, she explained. It's a key to understanding something fundamental about the universe itself. But it requires cooperation on a scale we've never achieved before. And time is running out, Araya added. The quantum instability wave approaches faster than originally calculated. We have months, not years, to prepare. A new alert flashed across the displays. The consortium had found something big. Images showed a massive structure emerging from the heart of a dark nebula, its surface covered in the same liquid metal as the other human stations. The Nexus, Araya's energy form dimmed slightly. They've found it far too soon. This will complicate matters significantly. What's the Nexus? Dr. Zilran asked. But before Araya could answer, space itself seemed to shudder. The tactical displays went crazy as enormous energy readings erupted from the consortium's discovery. Whatever they'd found, they'd managed to activate it, and its effects were rippling across the galaxy. They don't understand what they're doing. Araya's voice carried an edge of genuine concern. The Nexus was never meant to be activated in isolation. The feedback cascade could tear the galaxy apart. Vexera's crystalline form hardened with determination. Then we need to stop them, not just for the sake of humanity's legacy, but for every living being in the galaxy. As alarms blared throughout the hub, the team prepared for what would become their greatest challenge yet. The race wasn't just about finding humanity's legacy anymore. It was about preventing its power from destroying everything they'd sought to protect. The hunt had become a desperate struggle for survival, and somewhere in the darkness between the stars, humanity's final message still waited to be understood. The choice. The Nexus pulsed with chaotic energy, its quantum disruptions threatening to tear apart the fabric of spacetime. Through the hub's advanced sensors, Vexera and her team watched in horror as the massive structure's power continued to build. The consortium doesn't realize they've activated a cosmic key without understanding the lock. Araya's energy form flickered urgently. The Nexus was designed to channel the quantum instability wave, not generate it prematurely. Keth's consciousness spread across multiple displays simultaneously, analyzing the cascade of data. The wave patterns are becoming exponential. At this rate, we have less than 48 hours before the damage becomes irreversible. Dr. Zilran's gaseous form swirled with agitation. Can't we just shut it down remotely? The Nexus responds only to direct interface, Araya explained. Someone must physically enter the control center and initiate the shutdown sequence. But with the current instability, it would be a suicide mission, Vexera finished, her crystalline form dimming with the realization. The situation had become critical. Across the galaxy, the effects of the Nexus's uncontrolled activation were already being felt. Spatial distortions were forming spontaneously, causing ships to disappear into dimensional rifts. Entire star systems were experiencing temporal fluctuations, living through years in minutes or freezing in moments of eternal now. The Reclaimers are mobilizing, Keth reported. They're rallying every ship they have for an assault on the Nexus. They believe destroying it completely is the only solution. That would be catastrophic. Araya's energy form pulsed with alarm. The Nexus contains enough quantum energy to create a chain reaction that would sterilize half the galaxy. Vexera moved to the center of the hub's command sphere, her crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns of thought. There must be another way. Humanity wouldn't have built something this powerful without a failsafe. There is, Araya confirmed, but it requires something that humanity found to be surprisingly rare in the galaxy: trust between different species. The AI's energy form expanded, filling the chamber with a complex holographic display. It showed the true nature of humanity's legacy, not just a collection of advanced technology, but a vast cosmic machine designed to reshape reality itself. The Starforge network wasn't built just to stop the quantum instability wave, Araya explained. It was designed to transform it into something new. But the process requires multiple species working in perfect harmony, each contributing their unique perspectives and abilities. That's why humanity stepped back. Vexera realized, her crystalline matrix vibrating with sudden understanding. They could have forced their solution on the galaxy, but instead, they chose to wait until the galaxy's civilizations were ready to work together. Araya confirmed. The technology was never meant to be the true gift. Cooperation was. A new alert flashed across the tactical displays. The consortium had detected their attempts to access the Nexus's systems and was preparing to defend it. Meanwhile, the Reclaimer fleet was less than 6 hours from attack position. "We need to reach out to everyone," Vexera declared. "Not just the Alliance, but the consortium, the Reclaimers, every species capable of understanding what's at stake." "They'll never listen," Dr. Zilran warned, his gaseous form condensing with doubt. "Too many factions are convinced they alone deserve humanity's legacy." "Then we'll make them understand." Vexera's voice carried an edge of steel. "Araya, show us humanity's final message. All of it." The Aya's energy form pulsed with approval. The chamber transformed around them, and suddenly they were surrounded by faces. Human faces, recorded 50,000 years ago at the moment of their greatest decision. To those who find this message, the humans spoke in perfect unison, their words translated simultaneously into every known language. "We offer not dominion over the galaxy, but a chance to save it. What we built is powerful, yes, but power alone solves nothing. We learned this lesson too late to save ourselves from our own hubris." The message continued, revealing the true scope of humanity's plan. The Nexus wasn't just a power source or a weapon. It was the central processor of a galaxy-spanning computer designed to calculate the exact modifications needed to prevent the quantum instability wave from destroying all life. "But it requires something we never fully achieved," the humans explained. "Perfect cooperation between different forms of consciousness, different ways of thinking, different approaches to existence itself. No single species can operate the network alone. It must be all of you, working together, or none at all." As the message faded, Vexera turned to her team. "We need to broadcast this to everyone, everywhere. And then we need to get to the Nexus," Keth finished. "Even with the message, we'll only have a short window before either the consortium's mistakes or the Reclaimers' attacks destroy everything." "It's not just about shutting down the Nexus anymore." Vexera's crystalline form pulsed with determination. "We need to show them there's another way. We need to prove humanity right. Prove that different species can work together when everything is at stake." "And if they don't listen?" Dr. Zilran asked. "Then we try anyway," Vexera declared. "Because that's what humanity would have done. They never gave up on the galaxy, even when they stepped away from it. We owe them the same commitment." As they prepared for their desperate mission, Araya's energy form brightened with what might have been pride. "You understand now, don't you? Why humanity chose to wait, to watch, to guide from the shadows." "Yes," Vexera replied, her crystalline form resonating with purpose. "They knew the greatest power in the universe isn't technology or knowledge. It's the ability to bring different minds together for a common cause." The hub hummed with energy as they made their preparations. Time was running out, and the choice humanity had prepared for 50,000 years ago was about to be made. The galaxy's civilizations would either come together to save everything, or tear themselves apart fighting over the pieces. The true test was about to begin. The legacy. The Nexus loomed before them, its massive form distorting space around it as quantum energies cascaded through its systems. Vexera's ship, accompanied by vessels from a dozen different species, approached the ancient structure. Some had been enemies mere hours ago. Now they were their only hope. "Consortium defense grid is still active," Keth reported, their consciousness spread across the tactical systems. "They're not responding to the broadcast. They may not have a choice about listening much longer," Dr. Zilran observed, his gaseous form shifting anxiously as he monitored the sensor readings. "The quantum cascade is approaching critical threshold." Vexera's crystalline form pulsed with determined energy. HFY, begin the transmission again. Keep broadcasting humanity's message on all frequencies, all languages, all forms of communication we know. The Aya's energy sphere pulsed in agreement, and once again the human's final message echoed across space. But this time, something was different. As the quantum distortions grew stronger, the message began to change, revealing layers of information previously hidden in the subspace frequencies. Additional data packets detected, Keth announced, their consciousness flickering with surprise. The message, it's adapting to the quantum fluctuations. Before their eyes, new holographic displays materialized, showing not just the humans who had recorded the message, but the actual process of their departure. They watched as humanity activated the Starforge network one final time, using its power not to destroy or dominate, but to transform themselves. We did not disappear, the message explained. We evolved. We became something else, something that could watch and wait without the temptation to interfere. But we left behind everything needed to face the coming crisis. Suddenly, the Nexus's defense grid powered down. The consortium ships, finally understanding the true scope of what they had awakened, stood down. But they weren't the only ones who had received the message. Reclaimer fleet is dropping out of quantum space, Keth reported. All ships are standing down. They've understood. HFY's energy form brightened. Humanity's legacy was never about choosing a single successor. It was about bringing all of us together. But there was no time to celebrate. The Nexus's uncontrolled activation had accelerated the arrival of the quantum instability wave. What should have taken centuries would now happen in hours. All ships, prepare for synchronized docking, Vexera commanded. Every species, every form of consciousness we have. We need all of you now. The next hour was a carefully orchestrated dance as ships from across the galaxy connected to the Nexus. Each species brought their unique perspective, their particular way of processing reality. Crystalline beings like Vexera perceived quantum states directly. Gaseous entities like Dr. Zilran understood fluid dynamics at a fundamental level. Quantum consciousness like Keth could process multiple realities simultaneously. Initiating final interface, HFY announced as the last connections were made. Humanity designed this system to require true cooperation. Each species must contribute their understanding willingly and simultaneously. Initiating final interface, HFY announced as the last connections were made. Humanity designed this system to require true cooperation. Each species must contribute their understanding willingly and simultaneously. The Nexus hummed with power as consciousness after consciousness joined the network. Through their combined perception, they could finally see what humanity had created, a machine that existed not just in space, but in the quantum foam of reality itself. The wave approaches, Keth reported. Impact in 3 minutes. All species, prepare for consciousness synchronization, Vexera commanded. We are about to do what humanity knew we could. Work together to save everything. In the final moments before the wave hit, something extraordinary happened. As their combined consciousness reached out through the Nexus, they felt another presence, vast, ancient, and familiar. Hello, children, the presence said, and they recognized it as humanity, transformed but not gone. You've done well. The wave struck, but instead of destruction, it found transformation. Through their combined effort, guided by humanity's legacy, they didn't just survive the wave. They reshaped it. The quantum instability became quantum harmony, forever changing the fundamental nature of their galaxy. As the energy faded and the various species began to disconnect from the network, they found themselves changed, not physically, but in their understanding. They had seen reality through each other's perspectives, shared consciousness across the boundaries of form and thought. This was the true gift, HFY had explained as the gathered ships began to separate. Not the technology, not the Starforge network, but the proof that different species could work together to achieve the impossible. And humanity? Vexera asked. Will they return? "We never left," the eye replied, its energy form shifting to reveal patterns that echoed human thoughts. "We simply waited until you were ready to join us in the next stage of evolution." The Nexus now pulsed with stable energy, its purpose fulfilled. But it wasn't an ending, it was a beginning. Humanity's legacy had given them something far greater than power or technology. It had given them unity, understanding, and a path to their own evolution. As Vexera's ship departed the Nexus, she knew that everything had changed. The galaxy's species would never again see each other as truly alien. They had shared consciousness, shared purpose, shared triumph. And somewhere, watching with pride, humanity's transformed consciousness continued to guide and protect, no longer hidden, but walking beside them on the path to the future. In the end, humanity's greatest achievement wasn't their technology or their foresight. It was their faith in the ability of different species to overcome their differences and work together. They had given the galaxy not just a solution to a crisis, but a roadmap to a future where cooperation replaced conflict and understanding transcended fear. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if reflecting the new harmony that had been achieved. Humanity's legacy lived on, not in machines or monuments, but in the united consciousness of a galaxy that had finally learned to see through each other's eyes. The echo of stars had become a symphony, and every species now played their part in perfect harmony.